I'm not looking to be name-called or to be slandered for my actions, nor do I believe I should be judged for the rest of my life for my actions. I do not. I'm looking for assistance and insights from compassionate individuals, so I'm hoping for constructive help and advice rather than hostility. I, 27 female, and my husband, 30 male, have been married for almost 3 years. In 2020, I started an affair with a close friend, 32 male of ours, who's also married. The affair lasted a bit over 2 years. We mutually decided to quit and came clean to our respective partners at around the same time. My husband and I have had many problems over the years in our relationship, and while I'm not trying to justify my actions, my husband has refused to accept any responsibility for my affair, which in my opinion is not fair. D-Day was last month and I have not spoken a word to AP since. But my husband continues to bring my affair up and dwells on it, says some pretty nasty things and puts me down consistently. I guess I deserve this treatment, but for how long? In my mind, this affair is something that's done and done. It's in the past, it's over. I did not have to stop it, nor confess it to my husband. But I did, and by doing that, I feel like I've already taken the initiative to fix what, admittedly, I broke. But how long do I have to suffer it being thrown in my face? We have been to marriage counseling twice, and our therapist believes that affairs do not happen for no reason. I did not do this out of nowhere. But husband says I did it because I'm a hoe, verbatim. I'm still unsure where we stand. My husband has not been very open about what he thinks is the right path for us going forward. He's from a pretty conservative background, so for him, marriage is for life. But he admits he's having a real hard time with thoughts and images of me with my AP. We never really had conflicts before, but now I'm witnessing this ugly and vicious aspect of my partner's personality that I never knew existed. My problem is, how do I help him move forward? Despite everything, I still love him and I want to still work on our marriage. I'd like some unbiased opinions here. Update, so we sat down and had a talk. Without complicating the post, he wants a divorce. I wanted to compromise by suggesting a separation, but he said no. He said he was done feeling like a pushover. He brought up the fact that I started sleeping with a man before our first wedding anniversary and things got heated afterwards. I had to remove myself from the situation because it was growing increasingly abusive. I had promised myself long ago that I would never put myself in a situation where I was made to feel less than. My husband has moved out since then. I owned the house from prior to our marriage, so he's the one who had to go. I wish things were different, but I guess at the end, it was just too much for him. I feel sad when I think of the deep connection we once shared as not only spouses, but also friends. My actions have fundamentally changed him as a person, and I have no words to express how much I regret losing him. Thanks to the few users who have actually been supportive of me. People were so cruel in my previous post. I acknowledge my mistake, and I'm dealing with the consequences. I'm only human, and I'm also hurting and trying to cope with my emotions. While I understand the pain I've caused my husband, I shouldn't be silenced from expressing my own feelings and emotions just because I'm at fault. Story 2. We've been together 6 years, married for 3, no kids. Note that my wife is an objective 10/10 bombshell and gets hit on at work, bartender at a beach bar, all the time by everyone. Young, old, rich, poor. I'm a quite liberal guy. I've accepted that this is going to happen forever and trusted her to handle it gracefully. Wife came home pissed drunk the other night. Based on previous behavior, I was suspicious. Went through her phone and found DMs from the one person she shouldn't have DMs with. There was a previous confrontation about this dude 2.5 months ago, a co-worker propositioning her, where after I asked, demanded she block his number, all social media, and break contact. She agreed. She very clearly stopped at some point. The DMs were incriminating. I confronted her the following morning, asking to see her phone. She tried to keep it out of reach and went straight into Insta. I grabbed it. She eventually released her grip. She'd apparently woken up in the middle of the night and deleted the thread. I read for her the captions and simply asked her to just tell me the truth. At this point, I knew they were flirtatious, but not that they'd fucked. A few minutes into it, she confessed. According to her, the first 3 times were in early July. The more recent 2 were when I was out of town for 4 days exactly 3 weeks ago. onward culpability. I graduated from a fancy grad program in May 2018. Due to anxiety, self-loathing, and abuse of alcohol, all of which surfaced for the first time in my life, two-way through grad school, I haven't done shit with the past year. I've delayed my licensure exam twice now, which is shameful at best, and I haven't held more than a side job since graduating, nothing in my career field, mainly because of the hours required to study for the exam. It's been bad and it's been worse. I've been a piece of shit. I feel I bear the majority of the responsibility for bringing about a situation in which my wife would think to cheat. I was dismissive, gained weight, made empty promises to change, and neglected her in disgraceful ways. I admit and accept all of that and hate myself for it. What I can't do is reconcile that culpability with her actions, especially the most recent ones. Change, 6 weeks ago, she came to me with the notion of a trial separation. I became irate, rejected the premise, and promised, sincerely for once, to change my behavior. She agreed to wait it out and give it a shot. Since then, the drinking is under control by anyone's measure. I've steadily come into a heavy gym routine, dropped 15 previously gained pounds and added 6 days/week, and for the first time in a very long time, barring this news, I feel optimistic about finally getting my shit together. Namely, I can't stomach the shame of putting off, let alone failing this exam, 4 months away. I know I'm capable of passing. It just takes the time. If it kills me, I'll do it. In the time since then, it's been evident to me for various reasons that she's not completely there. I see now it's because she was hiding this sporadic, as she claims, affair. Says she had no real feelings for him. Not someone she's ever considered leaving me for. It was just exciting and fun, whereas nothing in our relationship to that point was giving her those things. Reaction. Honestly, there's more to it. 2.5 years ago, on the odd bender one day, I Skyped an ex-fling. We didn't speak regularly, but I knew that with her, whatever I wanted was always on the table and I fucked up. It was simply a one-time carnal thing. No persisting dialogue. I passed out after and she found some screenshots on my phone. I now understand that to be a form of cheating in itself. Nothing like it ever happened again, but she certainly hasn't forgotten. And there's yet more. I'd been in an anxiety and alcohol-driven depression for years. It's seen its worst points last summer and between late May through the end of August of this year. That is to say, while I can't excuse it, I can fully understand why she felt unattracted to me and driven away, checked out, or what have you. We've spoken calmly, although perhaps not as rationally as I'd hoped, about what happens going forward now that the truth is on the table. The conclusion so far is this: we'll give it an indefinite chance from here on out, up until the point that it's clear to either of us that the whole thing is beyond repair. My thoughts. I don't know what I think. I still very much love her to death. I can think of no one I'd rather have for a life partner and the mother of my future children. I feel an absurdly wide range of emotions surrounding this whole thing, but at the base of it all is guilt and shame in realizing that my actions contributed so greatly to the degradation of our relationship in the first place. Furthering the shame is that I have no idea what someone does in exactly my situation, where their own long-term inactions invited the infidelity, in order to maintain some semblance of dignity in the eyes of their partner. I've read that when it comes to infidelity, there are two types of people: those who can get past it and those who can never get the image out of their heads and can't get past it for that reason. However angry and lost I am, I know myself to be the former. We had a break before we eloped, while we were both in different countries for 6 months, and slept with other people. Didn't bother either of us in the least. That is, the actual fucking doesn't compare even slightly to the betrayal of trust thing. Her lies to cover it up previously when confronted on other occasions, and her actively covering up even after confessing. She's attempted to minimize the duration and extent of their relationship and been caught doing so like 2 or 3 times already. Confrontation? While I welcome your comments generally, I do indeed have a question. Should I confront this guy? I know his name and what he looks like. My thought is to demand that my wife ask to meet him somewhere public. When he agrees, and he will, I'll walk up to greet him. I want to do this for 3 reasons. 1, to ask him whether they use condoms, because I really don't trust my wife to tell me the truth about that, and STDs is real, man. 2, just to say my piece. To let him know what an indefensible thing he did and actively continues to attempt to do. And 3, I know that I'm well past the point of losing my wife's respect. I'm literally working my ass off to get that back. I think that some part of it, of my manhood, whatever that means in 2019, will be gone forever if I don't, at the very least, face the man. I have no intention of getting physical. I wouldn't raise my voice or make a scene. I simply want to hear from his mouth that they used protection, and I want to say my piece when however that manifests. Is this an awful idea? Plus, I also want to ask for her social media passwords so I can access the accounts at random for the next month, because that's how they were communicating. Is that an awful idea, or is it reasonable to keep her accountable? I honestly don't know. Walk away, my dude. This guy is not the problem. Your wife is. She's the one who broke the vows to you, not the other man. You don't have children, and no, she shouldn't be the mother of your future children. She's a cheater. Cheaters are never good mothers. Just walk away. Start over.